Subscribe and smash that bell so you never ever miss an upload from Sean's View Entertainment. You are watching Sean's View Entertainment. Entertainment at its best.
Here on the undisputed location for all WWE news, rumors, headlines, and now rants, viewers and subscribers, I will not be overtaken because Sean's View Entertainment will never, ever be shaken. But let's talk about the WWE's thought process. Let's talk about their mentality. Let's think about what the WWE isn't doing and what they should be doing and how they can avoid a lot of injuries. I mean, we see and hear it more than ever before. We know that injuries are a part of any sport. Or especially if it's something as, impactful as wrestling, UFC, whatever you want to say about WWE, the injuries come with the territories. But ladies and gentlemen, it is more relevant, it is more prevalent, it is more consistent. There is more injuries than ever before because the WWE has gone to a let's do more wrestling, less talking, less storytelling, less manipulating, less orchestration, less illustration. I mean, let's focus more on, flying off the ropes and doing all these strong style maneuvers and being stiff and being rough and being hard. And, you can come down to it and say, well, there's too many live events. That's an issue. Like I said, you take away what made the WWE really come into its own in the Attitude Era, where there was stories, where there was characters, and, there was it was a lot less. I mean, the matches weren't as long. I mean, you're putting on pay-per-view-like matches, and you're giving away free pay-per-view-like matches on a random episode of a Raw and SmackDown when you should be using Raw and SmackDown as a platform to build towards a pay-per-view, when you should be using a Raw and SmackDown to show and tell the storytelling to make it replicate to us fans in front of you. I mean, the fact of the matter is this. I mean, you're hearing about injuries every other week. It almost seems like every week. I know it's probably less than that, but it's more pronounced, the injuries nowadays, and because the WWE is solely focused on wrestling instead of how did we get to this point? Why are these two wrestling? And I understand the promos wouldn't be as good as they were in the Ruthless Aggression era, the Attitude Era, because it is so overly scripted, it's overly produced, they're not letting the wrestlers be an extension of themselves. Listen, I understand the WWE has changed since the glory days of the 80s and the Attitude Era in the 90s, and even, the 2003s, 4s, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth. I understand the change. But you also got to understand the impact of this change that is happening on the professional wrestlers. Let's not even talk about championships and losses and wins and entrances. We're talking about the fact that the WWE is going to wrestling. If there was less wrestling and put the wrestling on the pay-per-views, that's what the pay-per-views are for, is to wrestle. You use Raw and SmackDown as the hook to get you on the edge of your seat, to form. And once again, it is a soap opera. I mean, it is a man's soap opera, whatever you want to call it. What are some of them out there? What, Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless? Like I said, how did we get to this point? Why are they feuding over a championship? Where is the vendetta? Why is there hate there? What is the friction? You need an end game for the storytelling. And, it's almost like a lost art. Just like managers in WWE is a very lost art. And, if the WWE would go back to what worked in, some of these wrestlers, some of these characters can talk. Some of them can work an audience. We know that, the John Cenas, the Randy Ortons of the world, the Austins, the Rocks, the Paul Heymans. Those guys can really get you in the palm of your hand. You can really, be interested in, they can form whatever they want to say, and you're emotionally invested into what they're doing. But I just think if the WWE focused on more talking, more storytelling, more manipulation, more see a different side of these characters, see something different, see something compelling, see something extra that you might not get on a regular basis nowadays. And once again, I know you got a creative team of 10, 20, or 30 writers, and it's ridiculous. And once again, I myself don't know why the WWE needs so many writers when the storylines aren't that thorough, they're not that in-depth. And that's the thing. Why can't these creative writers form something that is captivating, something that is outside the box, something that really gets you, on the edge of your seat? I mean, the thing is, back in the Attitude Era, you had a reason to watch from 1 hour to the next. You had a reason it was like, it was like a never-ending story. And I know the WWE is that, evolving chapter, and there's always going to be chapters, there's always going to be layers, but it's not sound. It's not a sound strategy that WWE's adapted to, because we hear and we see all these injuries, and we see the impact on the foundation of these wrestlers and these athletes who do put their body on the line. Not to sound like a mark, not to sound like a smark, whatever they're calling them now these days. But like I said, there's always injuries in every sport, but nowadays, I mean, doesn't the WWE see where this is? And the WWE can ill afford to have any more significant injuries on their roster, especially with the talent depth, especially with the WWE brand shift, the brand extension. You got Raw and SmackDown, different entities. I just think that if they did more storytelling and more talking, more drama behind the scenes, more backstage antics, more promos, focus more on that and build towards the pay-per-view. That's what used to happen. And now the WWE not only does that, but they give longer matches. They give pay-per-view like caliber matches on Raw and SmackDown when it's not needed. And then you have the live shows, you have the live events, and then, then we go on to the pay-per-views where there's even more wrestling. And I think the WWE just needs to go in a different route. They talk about that reset button. I think that reset button needs to be hit more than ever before in 2017, going forth into 2018, 19, 20, so on and so forth. But I just think that, these wrestlers, they need a break. Like, you can't be pushing these guys to the wall. How about enhancement talents? What about some jobbers? Throw some jobbers in the mix so the matches only last 5 or 6 minutes. Like I said, we shouldn't be given, okay, once in a while, I'll give you that. Once in a while, it's okay to have a championship match. It's good. It's okay to have a 4-star match, a 5-star match on Raw or SmackDown. That's cool. That's nice. That's nice to switch it up, but that's what the WWE's not doing. They're not switching it up. There should be a balance of ratio between storytelling and wrestling and promos or something backstage. Something. But instead, you're not giving us a whole lot of depth. You're not giving us a whole lot of substance, and that's where my problem lies. And once again, viewers and subscribers, I'm still going to watch. I mean, I watched the WWE when it was even worse than what it is right now, circa, 93, 94, when you had, I'm not taking anything away from that era. I'm just saying that the kind of characters, the Looney Tune cartoonish characters they had, it was a little ridiculous for that time period. But the pendulum, the shift of change, the era that we're in now, like I said, nothing's the same. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same. And it's just not the same. And like I said, I'm the last one that wants to hear about people calling wrestling fake. Because when you hit that mat, when you land on that mat, when you go through a table, when you get thrown to the outside of the ring, when you fly off the top rope, you will feel it. You will know it. Okay, it's not like you're bouncing on a trampoline. Okay, it's you're hitting a mat, and it's there's not a whole hell of a lot of give there. So, and I think too, it's the wrestlers. Like I said, on pay-per-view, if they want to go all out, whatever strategy or booking they have on that match, okay, do what you want to do. But like look at Nakamura. I mean, he almost broke John Cena's neck. I mean, just look what Jinder Mahal is injured. I mean, there's just so many things weighing down the WWE that if they look at it from a different perspective and they switch it up and they do a different style, not the strong style and all these dives and all these flips and, impress all the marks and get a 5-star rating on a Raw and SmackDown where the ratings are at an all-time low. Do you understand that? The ratings are low. If the ratings were Attitude Era ratings, okay, then give all these nice matches and all these fundamentally sound maneuvers and finishers and kicks outs and false finishes. You take away from that, and like I said, I don't know. I mean, I've said what I had to say. I mean, I don't know what more I can put onto this. I don't know what more I can. There's not really many more ways you can spin this, but it's proven. I mean, it's showing. More wrestling equals more injuries. You put in more storytelling, more promos, more backstage antics. You throw something different into the mix. What the WWE doing is right now is bland and blah. They need to spice it up. They need to put different ingredients into it. They need to have a concoction is what they need to do. And right now that concoction is slimmer and slimmer. And the margin for error is getting worse and worse and worse as you present more wrestling, and more wrestling. Once again, I'm not here to talk about wins and losses. I am here to talk about the organic, natural product from within. And maybe if we can mix up some 80s and some 90s and somehow put that together and formulate something that, wouldn't put these superstars, these wrestlers, these athletes at such high risk for injury. Once again, viewers and subscribers, this is just my view and my opinion. Share, subscribe, smash that bell, and I hope you've watched this video at least halfway through or the whole way through. And do you think they should focus on more wrestling? Do we need more wrestling? Or should it be a little bit more strict, a little bit more formulated, a little bit more structure? We need structure. That's the word I've been looking for this entire episode. The WWE needs that structure, and I think that's one thing that is definitely missing. And they need that perfect mix. And as long as you're not getting that mix and you're not getting that fix, well, I guess we can just wait for everything else to happen, and we can just hear about how another superstar was injured on Raw or SmackDown Live or a live event. I mean, that is becoming too natural nowadays. We shouldn't be hearing these kind of injuries week in and week out all the time like this. I mean, it is skyrocketing. I mean, it is very dangerous. I mean, when you and Seth Rollins, it's. I mean, you're talking about top high-class performance here. I mean, you're talking about, the cream of the crop. I mean, the Ortons, the Cenas, the Lesnars, the Batistas, the Austin, the Rocks, the Hogans, all legendary, all figures, all characters, all stars that were able to, adapt and evolve and get involved and get the fans behind them one way or another. And, there's just a lot of things missing from the current WWE product. That they're going back to a mentality of circa wrestling 1975 instead of focusing on why and how we got here and what's happening and what's the predicament. So what's the reason? So that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know if you agree, disagree, if you're half with me, half against me, what have you. Share, subscribe. More to come from the brash and brazen Sean's View Entertainment, and I will not be overtaken. Please share this video on Facebook and Twitter.